Hey everyone, my name is Ash Shukla and I'd like to say namaste and welcome to my stream today. My friends, today we are at Financial Chakras. We're talking about, dementia prevention. I know that, as we get older, I grew up in a family where we had a lot of elderly people and I've seen, a lot of things happen. And it is amazing to me that, how, like in India, most of the time our parents, grandparents, they lived with us, and we basically took care of them. And to this day, my grandmother is like right now 96 and she lives with my parents. And that's an important thing, that when you get older, get being taken care of, and you forget, how life really, changes over time. And I was thinking about this. I as a financial advisor, like just those of you who don't know me, I came here from India with 20 bucks and no English, grew up here in Maryland, ran into financial services 1994. I wasn't bad when I started, I was pathetic. I had to blackmail my dad through my mom to get my first transaction. And, eventually I built a successful financial planner. I became a successful financial planner and I built a successful practice. Eventually I sold all that, became a consultant. I've been doing consulting work since about 2008, have helped over 5,000 businesses. And all my journey, the reason I'm telling you this is because in my journey in the financial space, I've served so many elderly people and I've been around so many elderly people in my personal life. And one thing I found over time is that, you forget things, right? Even when you're younger, sometimes like my wife still will say, can you go get the salt? And I'll be in the kitchen, I'll be in the living room or something, and I'll walk up to the kitchen. Then I'm like, oh, what am I here to do? And now amplify that, 10 times, 20 times, 100 times, 1,000 times, to really, you be not be able to recall certain things. So, in elderly times, I found that a lot of elderly people, they need care and nurturing and loving and so forth. And I have an expert here today who specializes in dementia prevention. See, we all know that we're getting older and we all know we're going to have that challenge. And I figured, like, let me just bring somebody up today who can actually talk about this subject, because it's an important thing, is inevitable thing that's going to happen to all of us, right? So
Mhm.
that's why I wanted to please help me welcome, bring Alexi. Hi Alexi, how are you, my friend?
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm absolutely delighted.
I'm delighted to have you, my friend. I was, when I saw your profile on LinkedIn, I was absolutely thrilled when I saw that. I'm like, oh my God, like that is such a good topic to be discussed, So I want to say thank you for taking that on, because I have not seen anybody that I know of that has taken that on, personally speaking, at least, right? So thank you for that.
Mm, you're most
Yeah.
welcome.
Yeah. So tell me, how did you come up with this whole idea of like really helping people with dementia prevention?
Well, I started my health journey, if I could just give you a little bit of background, more than
Sure.
20 years ago when I was diagnosed with cancer. And what I say today is cancer saved my life because it changed the direction of my career. I was a traditional chef, and then at that time, I switched over to a raw food chef because it was sort of the big trend back then. And I learned everything I could about health and healing by doing a lot of research at libraries and bookstores at the time, because more than 20 years ago, the availability isn't what it is today. And so I radically changed my lifestyle habits, and within a year, without any medical intervention, drugs, or surgery, I was cancer free. And so then, hence my journey, learning all I can about holistic health and healing, non invasive, using the functional medicine model, which means getting to the root cause. And then, as myself, approaching wisdom years, and it seems to like the last 4 or 5 years, it's been in the news about dementia and the rising numbers. I was working at a nursing home. It was lunchtime. You could hear the residents animated in the one dining room having lively conversation, and just a short walk down the hallway was another dining room where I was stationed. About 24 women seated at tables of four. We had to visually show them on two plates their lunch entrees. Some had to have their food cut up, some had to be fed. There was no eye contact, no social interaction. All you could hear was the knives and forks on the plates. All these women were suffering from various degrees of dementia, and some were only in their 50s. And it just broke my heart. I thought, the world has to know that this is really happening in a big way. Unless you have a parent or a spouse that has been um, suffering from dementia or any of these neurological disorders, you have no idea how impactful it is not only on the person but on the family. So that's all I've been doing now lately is public speaking events and podcasts and teaching and coaching individuals to how it's not inevitable, it's avoidable because people automatically think that you're going to get it when you get older, and that does not have to be the case at all.
Hmm. I see. So you can actually avoid it, like and so and that's very interesting thought process. I like it.
Well, absolutely, because you know, um, heart disease is inflammation of the heart.
Mm,
Arthritis is inflammation of the joints. So dementia is inflammation of the brain. So you do things in your
mm,
lifestyle habits that will reduce or prevent inflammation. And it's, besides the traditional, diet, nutrition, sleep, exercise, there are other key areas that I'd like to address. And based on the studies done by the Blue Zones, which are 5 communities found on the planet that boast the healthiest long living well into their 90s and hundreds. So, what are their daily lifestyle habits? Well, yes, they grow their own food. They drink healthy water. They're spend a lot of time in sunshine, but they have strong community bonds. With families, with the community. They do things as a group, and they have meaning and purpose in their life. So they get up in the morning and there's something that they will be doing that they look forward to, whether it's planting the garden, whether it's teaching your son how to fish or how to garden. So, in North America, people, when they become retirement age, a lot of them lose that drive that what's the purpose in my life now? I've worked for 65 years. I'm just going to take it easy. Well, yes, you can take it easy, but you can still put to good use the skills that you have by mentoring somebody, by learning a new skill, learning a new language. Mind games, chess are really very important. You can maybe mentor your grandson. He really likes to watch you make cookies, and so he becomes a world-class baker. You can mentor your granddaughter and teach her how to ski, and she becomes an Olympic skier. So there's just so many things you can do that give meaning and purpose to your life. Just be glad that you are alive. Socialize with people that maybe are alone. Make a meal for them, get together with them. Just having that meaning and purpose in your life. But above all, just be grateful. Be grateful that you're alive. Be grateful that you had a good life. Even in negativity, there's always something to be grateful for because there's a lesson there. So, like, yes, I had cancer. I'm grateful because it changed the direction of my life. And now I'm able to help other people and use, my talents, my knowledge that I was not aware of.
yeah, and that's such an interesting thought process because most and what you said is so crucial because being thankful is such a crucial thing too, because it really goes with your when you're thankful, when you're humbled, in so many ways it really helps you come to peace, right, in terms of
Hmm.
peaceful place is concerned. I remember like my grandfather, he was 97 when he passed, and until then he was walking, he was like perfectly healthy person. And one thing for sure that that he has taught all of us, our family members, is how to be in the peace, right, in at any given point in time. And anytime he had a choice to make, he chose the path to peace. And I thought that was such a crucial thing that he had done throughout his life. So you're correct that if you spend some time really find your peace, your zen zone, then I think it really helps in so many ways and stay on that path. So I absolutely agree with you there. um so when it comes to dementia, right, so what are some other things that you see that happens to people when they have dementia, typically, like what kind of things that typically ends up happening to them?
Well, as dementia really sets in, somebody's going to have to be the decision maker in all of your daily activities. So, how would you feel if you no longer had that ability to decide where you were going to go, with whom, when, what holiday you wanted to go to, on who you wanted to go out for dinner, who you wanted to have over to your house. What if you couldn't drive anymore? What if
Mm,
somebody made all those decisions for you? I mean, we just take all these things for granted, but you're really losing your freedom.
right.
And, and so the same thing applies. You lose that cognitive ability if you don't use it throughout your whole life
Mm-hmm.
to make sound decisions. So, like, for example, if you have some investments, maybe all of a sudden you're losing that mindset where you don't know whether you should sell the stock or whether you should buy the stock or whether you should buy whatever. So somebody else is making your decisions for you. So it's really important to maintain that cognitive function for so many reasons.
I see. So it really is. It impacts your. So what you're saying is like the uncertainty level, your Muladhara chakra, your base chakra, your first chakra, it is so much weakened.
Hmm.
That you need help in everything,
Hmm.
and that makes you even feel. I don't know. Does that make them feel like the elderly? Is like, does that make them feel worse? When they are taking help from other people, or like how does that really translate?
Well, I guess in some capacity, depending on how far gone, your cognitive decline has progressed, um, you may get annoyed, and it's not there all the time. It sort of comes in waves. You may be really annoyed that somebody says that you can't drive anymore. Well, why not? I drove last week. I'm fine driving. Or you can't go out for dinner to so and so's place, and I canceled that winter vacation down in the Caribbean. Somebody's making the decisions for you. How would you feel? Like, you end up being, you feel like a child, like somebody's telling you what to do. And if you don't have a loving person, a family member caring for you, it resorts to being institutionalized. And unfortunately, the way our system is set up, there's not adequate care or compassion available for people, for family members that we put away because we no longer have the resources or the time or the know how to look after them. So all of a sudden, you're sitting in a place that is supposedly home, but it's not home. I mean, why do they lock the doors in nursing homes and retirement homes? Because people want to go home to the home that they are familiar with.
Mm. So they want to lock them in. Is that what the point is
Well, they
there?
lock them so they can't get out, because when they get out, nobody, they may not, the staff may not know that the person has left. And if you're suffering from various degrees of cognitive decline, what if it's in the middle of winter and you don't have the proper clothing, and all of a sudden you've gone missing and nobody knows where you are? Some of these nursing homes are on busy roads. There's traffic. There's just so many other dangers out there when your mind isn't as sharp as it used to be.
Wow. So like, okay. So I'm gonna assume they have some sort of compound right outside and stuff like that.
Well,
That they can.
yeah. Well, the door is locked, so you can't get out from the inside.
Hmm.
And then from the front door, there's always security. There's always a receptionist there to sign you in and sign you out. So they would never let their residents go out unattended.
I see.
Because I've been in some of these retirement homes, and they're not all like that, but a large majority are. And I remember I worked one week at this one seniors home, and there was a gentleman sitting in a wheelchair against the wall from 9 o'clock to when I left at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. He just sat in this wheelchair the whole day, just looking down. I mean, what
Mm.
kind of life is that? Because
Wow.
they don't have the staff to adequately care for all these people in these seniors home for activities, and some of them can't do some of these activities for physical reasons or whatever. So it's not a place where I would want to end the rest of my days.
Mm. Yeah.
And then, unfortunately, given the world situation the last couple of years, it makes it even more taxing on, everybody, but especially, older people that don't understand why their family can't come to visit them, or why can't they see their grandchildren.
Hmm. I see. Wow. 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 That's hard, because like now all of a sudden you go from a social life to, I mean, sort of no social life, so to speak,
Exactly.
and it's just not not doesn't sound like fun to me at
No, I
all.
know, and then they're also saying for people that are not in that kind of environment, given the world situation that we've had, it's really playing um, a big impact on your mental capabilities and your mental stability and your emotions, because we can't travel like we used to, and the same thing, have not been able to see family members. So your mental state is really important no matter what your age.
Yeah, and I think not to mention the fact that your financial resources are being drained as well,
That's right.
tremendously, like not only for the country but also for the people, right? So there's just so much financial resources gets drained when you're not healthy in that way. So I think, so what are some of the things that somebody could do to prevent dementia?
Well, number one, there is one food that is really important to eliminate from your diet. Well, not one food, it's called glyphosates. And glyphosates is the active ingredient found in
Hmm.
Monsanto's Roundup. It's a chemical that the farmers spray on their crops to kill off the bugs so they get a better yield. But Monsanto's Roundup, the glyphosate, has been shown to be carcinogenic, number one. And number two, it impairs your digestion of your food, which impairs the production of serotonin and then melatonin, which is your sleep hormone. And your brain detoxifies while you are sleeping. So if you're not getting adequate sleep, your brain's accumulating these toxins.
And
So it's
toxins,
really
yeah.
it's really important to eat foods that are not sprayed with um, Roundup or with glyphosate, and they include beans, greens, legumes, certain vegetables, corn, canola, cottonseed, soy. So those things absolutely have to be organic. And then, you know, eliminate processed foods like the SAD diet. Make your own soups, grow your own vegetables, even if you have a balcony. Have a community garden. Fresh fruits and um, every single day are really important, not the canned, the processed, the man made. They're just laden with all sorts of chemicals. So your diet is really important because, if you feed your garden good nourishment and, say, supplements and fertilizers, the yield will be good tomatoes and zucchini and peppers and whatever. So it's the same thing. What we put into our body will yield good
Mm-hmm.
health or not so good health, a clear mind or not so clear mind.
Mm. I see. I see. I think so. So what you're saying is like you have to keep your body. I mean, obviously eat the organic food, right? But and keep your body cleansed. Is that what
Hmm.
you're saying? Basically, like you really have to nourish your body. Is the
Absolutely nourish your body. And because our soils are void of the nutrients, um, we're not getting the nutrients in our food that we did 40, 50 years ago. So you do have to add supplements to your diet. You don't have to eat everything organic, but it's highly recommended, the most important things. And a really great resource is a site called ewg.org, which stands for Environmental Working Group. And they have a list every year that they come out called the Healthy 15 and the Dirty Dozen. And so it lists under the Dirty Dozen the foods that absolutely have to be organic, on the Healthy 15, the fruits and vegetables that you can eat that are not organic.
Hmm, I like that. Okay, I like that very much. Yeah. So healthy 15. I would say like definitely look at that, right? And the dirty dozen, definitely avoid them because I've never heard that, but I love the frame. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Um, but so when it comes to dementia, like how long does it take for somebody to really, when should they start practicing? all these things, early in life, later in life, like, and how long it takes for them to actually see the effects of it?
Well, the effects of it depends on everybody's different, but I mean, I know, you can start seeing effects in your early 50s or your late 40s. Definitely, most people, in your 60s or 70s or beyond. And, it's not just, we all forget where we put our keys. Um, or you go into one room and you think, oh, why did I come into this room? But it's just forgetting that somebody called you and they're going to come over, or that
Mm,
you have a luncheon date with somebody, or you just read something and 10 seconds later you can't remember what you read. So
mm,
there's little telltale signs. I mean, you can remember something, 10, 15, 20 seconds later, but if it takes you 2 or 3 minutes, then I think it's something to start worrying about. And sleep is so important. Not only that sleep is important because your brain detoxifies, but also, getting through the different sleep cycles. And what's most important is, unfortunately, in North America or modern countries today, is everybody has electronics in their bedroom, which is the worst place for it. You don't go to bed with your iPad watching a movie. You don't keep your cell phone under your pillow. Your bedroom should be in complete darkness with heavy curtains, no lights, no electronics in your bedroom, any kind. So no computers, no cell phone, no clock radio. Your cell phone should be put on sleep mode and as far as possible away from you, at the end of the bed, not on your nightstand right beside your head because the electronics, the EMFs, affect your sleep. There's only two reasons that we use our bedroom, and one of them is sleep.
mm, mm. I see.
you know
Wow.
and it's a
Wow.
bad habit people have gotten into, and you shouldn't be on your computer for at least an hour before bedtime. It's that the light that comes in from your computer that's very toxic. It interferes with your sleep. So these
Wow.
are all just bad habits people have accumulated over the years.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. People don't realize, how crucial that is to, not have electronics and things. I have a, a friend and a client. Her name is Brenda, and she does this, emotion coding and body coding.
Hmm.
And she talks about these energy fields, and she talks about, like, so I think that's so crucial. Like, she tells me all the time, hey Ash, like, you should, like, I see, I ask people in my practice, and I think that's about the electronics that they have, right? And I think how many
Hmm.
Wi-Fi routers you have in the house. I mean, all these things
Hmm.
are so crucial because they all affect you one way or the other energetically, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if at all possible, you should turn all your Wi-Fi off at night. Best to have your computers all hardwired. That's not feasible for everybody, but at least, definitely turn all your Wi-Fi routers off at night. And then people say, well, what if there's an emergency and somebody calls me in the middle of the night, and I have to keep my cell phone on? Well, how many times has that happened?
Mm, I
you
see.
know
Wow.
and then, just, I mean, heaven forbid, but if somebody calls you in the middle of the night and lives 1,000 miles away, what are you going to do at 3 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Mm.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
and the chances are of being called in the middle of the night. I mean, how many friends do you know that have had a phone call in the middle of the night because there was some emergency?
Yeah.
Maybe one.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Not that many.
Yeah.
But you don't want to get the phone call anyways. If you could
No,
have
I
a
know.
zero phone calls, that is better, right?
I know.
So
I know.
yeah,
So
yeah.
what are you gonna do? Worry all night, thinking, "Oh, my cell phone is off. What if somebody calls me?" That's
Right.
sort of different.
I don't know anybody that calls me at night just so and thankfully I leave my phone downstairs. So
Yeah,
if somebody does
exactly.
call me, I usually don't pick up. I'm actually here. So those of you who are here, and would love to hear from you in your comments, as I'm like, making sure that I can answer you guys. And so if those of you are here, and if you have any questions regarding dementia, feel free to ask in the chat in whatever channel you're watching. If you're watching me on LinkedIn or Facebook or YouTube, make sure you to either friend me, follow me, and make sure you subscribe to me on YouTube, because there's a lot more good stuff coming on YouTube, as I'm going to be posting few things. I'm actually making a really nice meditation music for some of those
Mm.
of you who are interested. You can go on my YouTube channel, sometime probably starting tomorrow or day after, and I'm going to have a nice long 8 hour meditation music. Those of you who cannot sleep and have some issues, and that will help you calm down and really just give you that soothing voice right before the sleep. So my goal is to really help everybody. And as we're discussing dementia, just type in the if you're here live, go here in the comment and type in the word dementia, or type in the word live. I would love to hear from you, and I would love to give you a shout out, because I think that it's important to not just listen to something, but give a shout out. Like we have Jonathan Dean, and he's been making comments on LinkedIn, for us, and he's talking about his how he's grateful that he got to spend last month with his grandmother, right, and a life, because my parents brought her to live with him and his family. And I think that is so cool. And Jonathan is asking, how does meditation help prevent dementia? Oh, that's a great question.
Oh, it is so important, you know? I mean, especially before you go to sleep, like that's why it's so important to turn all your electronics off. It really puts you in that, lowers your cortisol, puts you in that parasympathetic, that relaxed state for better quality sleep. And, you should wake up in the morning and do a 5 or 10 minute meditation if longer, if you've got the time. And it's really, it just calms you right down. It puts you in a different frame of mind. You're not in that fight or flight mode. And part of meditation, which I really support, is called blue mind. And blue mind is a word coined by a marine biologist, a Dr. Wallace. And he said, anytime you're in, on, or near water, you are in a semi meditative state. So, why do people flock to their cottages in the summertime or go to the islands in the wintertime? There's powerboating, canoeing, sailing, water skiing, sitting by the ocean, waterfalls. It's that semi meditative state. And so
Mhm.
couple that with a meditation while you're just sitting there and relaxing. It is so great for your overall body and definitely for your mental state.
I love that. Absolutely love that. So, Jonathan, I hope you like the. I know you just got an amazing answer from an expert, right? Alexi, she specializes in dementia. And those of you who are here watching, make sure you reach out to her. Make sure you connect with her on LinkedIn, and make sure you definitely friend her on Facebook. And my friends, if you are here and watching me right now, I want to say thank you so much for watching today, and thank you so much for being here today. And I love you a lot, and I just cannot wait to help you out in any way I can. But most importantly, in this topic of dementia, obviously, look, I'm not the expert of how to prevent dementia, but we have an expert, Alexi, who is an expert in that field, who can help you out. So go ahead and make sure you follow her or friend her, and make sure you do some in a connection on LinkedIn. And my friends, make sure that you are following me on YouTube, because as I grow that channel on YouTube. I'm putting on some things. And Jonathan, I would love for you to check out, probably tomorrow or day after tomorrow. I should have that meditation video up, and I would love for you to go check it out, and just put that in your. I'm making like a playlist of like different things on chakras and meditation and different things, and
Mm.
I think it'll be really really cool for you to go listen to that. And I have some amazing person who is some videography behind it, and really really nice listen. And I think it'll be kind of cool. So would love for you to do that. And shameless plug, because I am looking to grow my YouTube channel, and I am looking to get it to a place where I can get it to 4,000 hours that I need, so of a watch time and all that. So yes, I would love it if you just turn it on and go to sleep. That'll count for 8 hours, right? So if you do that for a few nights, I can get to my 4,000 hours a lot faster. So I want to say, shameless plug. I would love that, and thank you, Jonathan, for doing that. Really would appreciate that. And those of you who are here, be sure to reach out to us. I want to thank Alexi. Alexi, thank you so much for being here today. Really appreciate you, my friend. And
Um,
universe thanks you a lot.
oh, well, totally my pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, and those of you who are here, thank you so much. Make sure you make comments, ask questions. Alexi will be answering questions even later on. So if I see a question and things of the nature of Alexi sees it, we will be sure to answer the questions for you. Okay, thank you so much, guys, for being here. Love you guys a lot, and can't wait to see you. You know, in next time. Okay, really appreciate you. Thank you, Alexi.
My pleasure.
Thank you.